Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Expert Speaker Podcast. We have with us today sex and money expert, the queen of better sex from Germany, Miss Ute Benecke. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Majeed.
I am excited to have you here. Ute and I crossed paths in Canada and then California, and she had been growing a huge following in Germany, and she was breaking into the US, the English side of the world as, thought leaders and gurus. You leave your backyard. Someone told me, one of my mentors, he said, you can't profit in your own backyard. Profit, P-R-O-P-H-E-T and P-R-O-F-I-T. I would love to hear your story, Ute, of how did you get started in Germany and what inspired you to expand into English, and how's that all been?
Well, what did inspire me in Germany? So the big question always I get asked is, how did you get to do something like this? And for me, it came to me. It came to me. So I'm just a Catholic girl. I grew up on a farm just beside the church. I have an older brother and 3 sisters, so I came from a big family, and we never talked about sex. So sex was something everybody had, but nobody talked about. And this was until I turned 37. So I was in a long-term relationship, we had sex, and it actually wasn't an issue, but we never talked about it. It's just like you have it, but you don't talk about it. And also, there was something else, I'm really, really ashamed of my body. So I couldn't show up naked in front of other people, not even women. So when I was, for example, at the gym or at sport in school or also later, I would go home for a shower. I wouldn't shower there. So I would go home because I was too ashamed of showing my body, even though my body was okay. But I don't know, I was just so ashamed. And then there was a turning point in my life where I made a decision. So I went into hospital and got a surgery, which was meant to be actually kind of a regular surgery, but it turned out they took out my womb. So for me as a woman, this was quite a thing. And first of all, my world broke like together because I still wanted to have kids. But then, while I still was in the hospital, I felt like, wait a minute, Ute, wait a minute. You still can figure this out. You still can be a woman, and you still can change your life. And this was actually the turning point for me, that I decided I will change my life. I won't live on the way I lived before, with working hard, working. I was self-employed as a financial advisor. So I was working like 16 hours from Monday till Saturday. And so I began my own journey with exploring, my own sexuality more and more, because I was in a long-term relationship, 17 years, and I was so curious after this was finished, what else is out there.
So you grew up a Catholic farm girl.
Yes.
And didn't talk about sex. Sex was just something that people had. You were in a relationship, you had sex, didn't talk about it, went to the hospital for a routine surgery, and woke up and found out that your womb was removed.
Yes.
And you went on a journey to discover sex after the womb removal surgery. And so up until this point, you weren't the sex guru, you weren't helping other people with sex, and you were doing financial advising.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so then how'd you get into the sex business?
Okay, so the sex business got into me. Yeah, so I started my own journey, and I was visiting workshops about female sexuality. And that's where I found out, wow, there is something, there is something which feels like coming home. So first of all, I liberated myself. So, I got rid of all the shame, all the taboos, all the issues I had, all the, also grief. And so, if you go on this journey, there are a lot of emotions who are coming up, who were just like covered or repressed by then. And then there was a point where the teacher said, Ute, you do have a special gift. You should do something with that. And I'm like, aha.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what was that? So someone told you you had a gift and you didn't believe it?
No, I was like,
Okay.
let them talk.
Sure.
They're like, this was like, so yeah, but I went on doing these workshops and repeating them and doing them again because I really wanted to dive deeper into this. And I also was on a point in my own career as a financial advisor where I was sure that I won't do this any longer. So it was actually interesting because it was my most successful year. It was the first year where I grossed 6 figures, and I was just like, when I thought about my future and my goals, it was just like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And so what else can I do? And this just came together with, exploring my own sexuality more and more with my own journey and with this teacher who meant, Ute, you've got a special gift. You should do something with that.
Yeah. So, I remember you telling me about kind of the connection with your sexual liberation or your sexual exploration and the financial success as a financial advisor. How do you describe those two things? Is it like a direct correlation, more sex, more money, or is it like better sex,
Yes.
more money? How's that work?
Okay. Yes. So the correlation is more and better sex to money. So it has to be good and fulfilling sex. You can have a lot of sex, but it's not fulfilling you. So there are quite some differences. It needs to be really good, juicy, yummy, fulfilling sex, where you feel like yes afterwards, where you really feel like, and men and women do have that
Yeah.
feeling. And if you pay attention, you know what I'm talking to, because everybody had sexual encounters where they went out of it and felt like, what was this? And you've got sexual encounters where you're like, oh wow, this was really, really good. And the correlation is, it's about energy and it's about flow. So if you have, just imagine, you have great sex, you have more than enough sex, you have sex whenever you want to have sex. In
Geez,
what
that
mood
sounds
are
amazing.
you? Yeah, I mean, you're just on fire, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, for me, sexuality, and not only for me, I mean, sexuality is the biggest life force we have.
Mm.
So you can use it for yourself as a source. That's what I do. Or you can just not use it or suppress it or whatever. But it's still the biggest life force you have. And the more you connect it to the source, the more on fire you are, the more you're on flow, the more inspired are you also. And you can transfer this into business.
Okay, let me ask you this. This may be a myth from my high school days, as are so many misunderstandings and misconceptions around sex. But I remember it was either a movie or I can't remember, where the football team, like the night before the big game, they're all told nobody have sex because we need that energy on the field tomorrow. And so, for entrepreneurs and for speakers that want to show up with great presence, is there some magic to holding off and not having sex? Or how do we cultivate just the right kind of energy to perform in high performance situations like the football team?
Yes. Okay. So there are differences between men and women. Okay. So
Yes.
for men, it is actually very good when they hold the sexual energy, which means if they don't have, they can have orgasms, but they shouldn't ejaculate.
Got it.
So, they shouldn't come. So that's actually where men often lose the energy when they come. So for women, it's different. And that's what they talk about, football and high performance. So what you can do if you're a man, for example, is you can have great morning sex with your loved one, but don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it and take it into your day. And It's about body work and breathing, and you can learn how to do this. And it's great. So the men who do this, it's great that they really, really like it.
Great.
So that's the myth
Cool.
about this. So it's actually a little bit true.
Is there, do you have some resources available to learn these things on your website, or what do you recommend if someone wants to learn these things?
Yes, I can prepare some resources for that for
Great.
you to
Great.
link under the podcast.
Let's
Yes.
mention your website now. What's the best place for people to go to?
It's utebenecke.com.
utebenecke.com. Ask all your questions there. All right, let's get back into, I'd like to kind of go to the moment when you realized, oh, this might actually be a business where I can actually help people and people actually will give me money to help them with this kind of stuff. How did that happen? Did that, was that by design? Was that by accident? And how did it start? Did you start with an info product or did you start with the retreat?
Okay, so first of all, from the idea until I had a website, which I published, I had 3 tries. So I tried it 3 times.
Yeah.
And this first and second try didn't work out really. So I didn't really get started. And the first try was when I went online with my website. So the desire was there, and I, myself needed to get ready to go out with such a topic. This was quite a step for me, since I'm just a Catholic girl, and you can imagine. And so, I got a coach, and I did preparation in 6 months before, and I set a deadline, which was my birthday, and I said, okay, and on my next birthday, that's my birthday present, my website is going online. And that's how it just happened.
So you made a decision. I'm launching this business. I'm hiring a coach, and you launched a website before you got clients?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Good.
So I did it all in once. So I launched a website, I launched a blog, I launched my offers. So I had all on the website, and I did it all in once.
And did you do that all while you had your financial advisor job?
No, I didn't have the financial advisor job anymore, but I had a part-time job.
Okay, so you had a little part-time job, launching
I had
a
a
business.
part-time job, right? And I was doing sensual massages, since I'm also a Tantra massage therapist. So I was actually right after my financial advisor stuff, when I finished that, I don't know, just 3 or 4 months after this, I started to do sensual massages. So I had my own practice, and
I didn't know you did that. That's awesome. And we were just talking before we started the interview on your 4-week experience in Ayurvedic detox in Sri Lanka. And since I've known you, I've seen you traveling through Canada, through the United States. Now you're in Italy. You were just in Sri Lanka. And it's amazing the lifestyle you have and how well you treat yourself. I would love to know, what was the vision for that? What was the journey for that? For speakers, we have this luxury of that we can speak from anywhere. We can create content with any camera. We can blog to our expertise. And you serve people through retreats and online products and everything in between. I would love to see how you kind of designed and built that lifestyle and how the business kind of grew with that.
Okay, so when I first started out, actually, I didn't think about this. But then in 2015 or so, was the year where I went all in. And I said, okay, so I'm all in now. So again, I made a few decisions, which were, I quit my part-time jobs, and I said, okay, either I do this business at all, I'm all in. And for me, so there was no other possibility of, I'm not having a plan B, because I know I'm meant to do this. So the only question for me is, how does it work and how do I want to have it? So when I was all in, and when I literally, I quit everything which was holding me to a place or whatever. So I realized, oh my gosh, now I'm totally free. I'm totally independent, I can go wherever I want to go. I can travel, I can leave the country. I can do everything. And that's where I started looking, okay, where could I go? So, and for me, it's like I'm really, since I'm a woman, I'm really very strong listening to my intuition. So I get some calls, go there. For example, go to Maui. So I was 2 months on Maui and in Los Angeles, and or go to Sri Lanka, or go to Toronto, even if it's like in the coldest winter ever. So, and I learned to listen to this voice and to follow this. And really, so for me, it's not so much about visioning. I do know, what kind of lifestyle I want to live. And it's also listening to me, it's actually listening to my body because he's telling me what I need to do.
So you get these intuitions, go here, go there, you listen to your body. And how do you manage the work delivering your service? What
Yeah.
sort of services do you deliver? Is it there's coaching, there's one-on-one, there's group stuff, there's info products, retreats? What are all the things that you do to serve your audience?
Okay, so I do have a blog where I write articles and about all different kinds of topics. Then I do have a YouTube channel where I do videos, I do Facebook Lives, so I do a lot of talking, I do webinar, actually the talking stuff, speaking stuff, that's why I'm here anyway, that's what I really like because I realized it's very natural to me, I like that, and people get to see me, and so they get a really good feeling for who's this Ute, who's this sex lady, how does she think, what is she doing? And so by speaking, they really get me. And that's very great. And so, yeah, so webinars, and that's how I serve my audience. And I do have, I only work online. So I used to have, as a financial advisor, I only worked offline. So this was like a total new world for me. And I had an office, I had employees, I had a team. And I was like, I don't want to have this anymore. I already had this in my life. I don't want to be fixed to one place to have a room to do my work. So I said, let's do this online. I can do this online. So I'm doing one-on-one coachings. I do my group coachings online, book programs online, and I also do live retreats, which happen on certain places then.
Tell me about that. What is your approach to the live retreat? I know, with the retreat, you got to kind of create the space and create the transformation, and you're this leader, facilitator, some teaching, what do you do and what's your approach?
That's a secret.
That's why they pay you the big bucks. You got to find out. Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you a little bit.
We're getting to the good stuff here.
Getting to the good stuff here. Yeah, my secrets. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I can tell you. So I'm up until now, I did mostly women retreats. So their husbands or partners were always very happy when they came back from the retreat.
Oh, nice.
Yes, because they had amazing sex. And it turned out that after a while, they are asking their women when they go back to a retreat from Ute.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's good marketing right there.
Because they want to have such good sex again. And that's what we do. So I believe that women need to be with women and men need time to be with men. So, I mean, men, for example, they go to the forest, they're like crazy, they're like warriors, they're like, I don't know, whatever men do, that's what they don't tell us either.
It's a secret.
And that's also the secret, and that's what we women do too, because women need a place to nourish themselves, where they can just be, where they can experience themselves, where they can meet other women, where they can talk to other women. And of course, we talk about sex at my retreats. So, I'm not talking around, we are talking like real shit. and what's really going on. And it's so freeing for women to do this because they realize, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. I mean, and it's the same for men too. You know, when they start talking about sex and they see other men have the same issues, they're like, oh my gosh, God, thank you. You know, I'm not the only one, because that's all the taboos. That's all the hidden. That's all the you don't talk about. And that's what gives you the bad feeling, because you think out of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm the only one who's having this issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have no idea that there are like thousands of others who have the same.
So people get to really open up. They get to see other people have the same issues. Secret women things happen. They come home, they have better sex. And what are some of the results of better sex? Like, I know we've talked about the connection to money, but what are some of the other things you've seen from your own clients that have, you know, gone through this work and they're having the better sex, but what's happening in their life as a result of that?
Well, they're more confident, first of all.
Yeah.
Because what we also do in retreats is a lot of body and energy work.
Yeah.
So they really, they really feel comfortable in their body. If you feel comfortable in your body, you feel comfortable yourself. So there's a lot of connection about confidence. And so they feel way more confident in who they are as a woman and what they do when they want to have sex, and start talking with where they didn't talk before, for example. So, you know, they're losing a lot of fears and shames and taboos. They're overcoming this.
Okay.
So that's a big win, more confidence out of better sex. And it's also about, it's more happiness. You know, you're on fire. You're on fire. I mean, just imagine, okay? Imagine. You have sex, I don't know, once every 5 months. Or you have sex like at least every week, twice.
Right.
How do you feel? Okay. So your whole body, your whole system, you know, you're on fire. And you can be on fire, or you can be like dying. And it is, you know, if you're not using this energy, it's like dying.
You know, Ute, this is very funny. Have you ever presented anything like this in a office setting for a group of, like a team, like team building exercise, like the, you know, the energy confidence side of things? Have you ever done that?
Well, I actually did. I was speaking once for a group, and this was, they were actually all coaches. So they were in a coaching program, and on their way to be, I don't remember, some special high intelligent coaching program.
Yeah.
And I was the guest speaker, and I was the guest speaker and was speaking to them about sex, because the leader meant if they do this program, they should be able and confident to speak about sex too.
Right. Yes.
Funny.
And everybody knows if you're going to be a great coach, you have to have great sex. That's just, you just got to. Cool. Okay. Now let me ask about your approach to speaking. When you're brought into a conference or an association or a group, first of all, who would you consider your ideal audience, and what is the speech or message that you would deliver to that audience?
Okay, so my ideal audience are men and women who are, you know, entrepreneurs, who are open-minded, and who are interested in the magic power of sex and how they can use it for them. So they need to be a little bit open-minded. And I mostly talk to entrepreneurs or work with entrepreneurs.
So entrepreneurs, they're looking for the edge. They're looking for that high performance hack to get more out of life and achieve their goals. And you come in with this very unique, very tangible strategy, which is have better sex, build more confidence, have better body energy and image. And
you also, I mean, the main aspect is you do have more power, you know, and everything is just more easy. And it's more, you know, because you're more aligned, it's more in flow. And I come back to the example, just imagine you have sex once every few months. How do you feel? And you have sex twice a week. And there are actually studies which are saying that sex once a week is like $50,000 more a year, and sex twice a year is
Oh,
$100,000 more. Yes.
well, that's useful information.
So at least, you know, get to once a week.
Very good.
So, and what I do, you know, when I speak is finding a good way and also a little bit a humorous way, like a funny way, not being so serious, because that's also something, you know, sex is such a hard topic, sex is such a taboo topic, such a serious topic. And I'm, you know, making a little bit fun of it and bringing it the light side. And I mean, it's fun and joy and pleasure, and that's what it's meant to be.
All right, Ute, I'm going to ask you for a real specific, tactical, applicable, actionable tip from you, okay? And I want it in terms of sales, because I know being a top financial advisor, you were good at sales and you knew the connection with sex. Now, I don't know if this is applicable or not, but is there some sort of flirtation that could happen in the relationship development process and the sales process? Is there some sort of like, you know, look at them this way or touch them that way? It's going to help with the relationship. You got any tips like that?
Of course, of course. So just to get the image first, just imagine you have to talk to someone who's selling you something, whatever.
Yeah.
So who would you buy the most? Like, if there's a guy or a woman who's like frustrated, who's bitter, you know, and you can see it in the face, you can feel the energy and you can see it in the face. And, you know, they're frustrated, they're not happy with their life. And then there's a salesperson, you know, who's on fire, who's happy, who's listening to you, and, you know, who's seeing you, who's getting you, who's listening to your needs and to your desires. And that's the glue, you know. And the thing is, if you're feeling good, the other person is feeling good too. That's why a lot of people are in my audience. They want to be around me because I have good energy and they like it. And I'm also very, you know, an open mind, and I'm having different thoughts about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And they like that, you know, they're drawn to that. And if you want to make good sales, and also if you're a speaker, I mean, if you're a speaker, okay, so I tell you what I did today. Can we talk openly here?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I did prepare myself for this interview. Okay, so I'm here in Tuscany, and I felt like, okay, I'm having an interview later on with Majeed, what I'm gonna do. So I do have kind of a ritual when I do interviews, which is like shower, preparing myself, you know, getting beautiful. And I also thought, yeah, I want to have some juicy, yummy stuff. So since I'm in Italy and Tuscany here, I went outside and I laid in the sun naked. So I got some sun naked. I got some yummy juices going on in my body. And that's how I prepared myself for this call. So there are a lot of things, you know, we can do to turn ourselves on. My favorite part is, since you asked, self-pleasuring, because that's where you don't need anybody, just yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how you can, you know, you need to fill up yourself first, because if you're needy, you're not attracted to someone else. So that's the main point I teach. You need to fill up yourself first. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, but no, you know, sex with someone else is just so much better. But just think about, if you don't like to touch yourself, if you don't like to have sex with yourself, how should someone else?
That's a good point. And I'm glad you brought that up. So a couple things stand out for me. One is you have a ritual for preparing for an interview, as I'm sure you do for a speech as well. That's great. And not being needy.
Yes.
Needy is unattractive. And in sales, we want to be attractive, or on stage, we want to be attractive or charismatic. And then not needing another person or another body to do this work is a very good point. People who might be listening and going, yeah, it's easy for you to say sex twice a week, I don't have a partner. Yeah, you got
I don't have a partner right now.
Yeah.
So?
You say you do or you don't now?
I don't.
Cool.
So I'm a good example.
So we're getting all the secrets, the sunshine, getting the juices going. Very exciting. Ute, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with our audience, and audiences that can hear your story and your wisdom are very lucky to have Ute, the Queen of Better Sex, international expert speaker. Thank you very much. Where can we learn more about you, learn more from you? utebenecke.com, Utebenecke.
Yes, exactly.
And anything else we should know or anything else you'd like to say?
Well, just go ahead and check out my website. And if you feel drawn to it, reach out to me, send me an email, let me know you heard my interview, and I'm happy to help you. And if you would like to work with me, just shoot out to me, send an email, and let's hop on a call and talk.
That's awesome. Talk about some yummy, juicy stuff with Ute. Send her and have some fun. All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks again. And thank you, dear listener, for listening to this episode of the Expert Speaker Podcast. And we'll see you on the next Expert Speaker Podcast. I'm Majeed like magic. It's been a pleasure sharing the stage today with Ute Benecke, the Queen of Better Sex. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Expert Speaker Podcast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave us a rating so that more people can discover the Expert Speaker Podcast and so more people can be empowered to share their message. Be sure to go to www.expertspeaker.com and take the masterclass to learn how to grow your business and make money speaking. It's totally free and will change your business. If you're ready to work with Expert Speaker, you can apply. Just go to expertspeaker.com/apply and someone from our team will be in touch with you to help you grow your business with public speaking. That's expertspeaker.com/apply. We'll see you in the next episode.